So, I managed to kill the door on the first turn. Um, Once again, it has 1 billion HP, just like the Waterfall Giant. And yeah, it only took me. It took testing out one seed. As you can see, that the seed of the run is 1. And here are the run stats on the screen right now. So, one thing, I guess I'll mention it later. First, I'll explain the choices at the beginning of the run. So, you select custom and sealed deck, Necrobinder, Ascension 10, and then I pick a big game hunter for more elites, and elites will drop rare cards now. And I also took flight, which means I can ignore the path. Take fetch here, that's the AoE Doom thing for some clearing, and then I just take some material cards, some cards that exhaust, and also borrow time for mana generation. And yeah, the 0 mana draw card. I'm gonna speed up some the fights here, and just so the video feels better to watch. I find the second borrow time. So now my energy is sold. So there's a lot of elites now because of the big game hunter. And they now give a rare card reward, just like the bosses. Which is important for me because I want to find a rare card called Time's Up. And the Time's Up deals damage equal to Doom. Which is important because the door, during its first turn, removes all debuffs, transforms, and ends their turn, so you cannot doom the door. I think I haven't tested this. So I took Oblivion earlier, which will help me accumulate the doom at the start and also clear random elites and encounters. So what I wanted to say earlier is I tried to kill the door with the card called Hang, which is 1 mana rare from Necrobinder, and this one in the middle right here, it says double all damage, which is good enough scaling to deal 1 billion damage in a reasonable time. However, the doubling the damage caps at 999, and you cannot go above that, and that is simply too little damage. So that ended up being a failure. So knowing that, Doom is currently the only method I know to kill these bosses. I saw some picture on Reddit where someone did it by stacking by stacking Vulnerable with Ironclad and then gaining 1 billion strength. But they did that in multiplayer, and I don't know exactly how they did that. But it seems harder to do than here. So I'm removing some cards and I pick up the thing that draws 2. I will find later the draw 4. And here is the Capture Spirit, very important for the infinite. Now I can just remove one of the cards that just clogs up the hand and I don't need. Anyway, I guess you can do this with Ironclad. If you manage to make the fist attack that doubles the vulnerable, if you can manage to remove exhaust from it, then you can use it to get 1 billion vulnerable and get 1 billion strength. But that relies on one specific event, so in Act 3, so it's pretty hard to do. Also, I almost doomed myself here. So, yeah, in this shop, I just get this Swift Potion. So, against the door, we can need turn 1 infinite, so we need all the help we can get to start rolling, and Swift Potions are great for that. There is also, I also saw some clip on YouTube Shorts of someone setting up Hellraiser, Pommel Strike, Setup Strike, Infinite, which increases your strength as it continues. So as it continues, you deal more damage. But I haven't calculated this, but I think that is simply too slow, even if it's automatic, because the card we're gonna use says for every doom apply doom, which means it is 1.5 to n scaling, which is a much better scaling than n to some small number, which is the scaling of the setup strike thing, I think. Here we find times up, which is deal damage equal to doom. Very important. Here I take Driftwood, which is reroll card rewards, because I just need to like find a few specific cards, and that helps a lot. Here it is, no escape. Very important. And later on, a bug will remove the AoE Doom for us. How very kind of him. I think it's right here, right? Yep. Free card removal. At this point, I no longer need the AoE Doom, although it would have sped up some the Centipede Elite encounter, definitely. Which I ended up fighting, I think, like 2 or 3 times. This is the first Centipede. I also took damage. Centipede is a crazy elite, I think. Probably the strongest elite. Because no one is really trying to just get as much AoE as they want. Like, if you have a deck that is just vomiting AoE, then sure, it's not a big deal. But that's not the deck that wins the rest of the game. So I'm already able to go infinite because I have less than, but not on the first turn, not yet. I can let some material cards exhaust, including the Ascender's Bane stuff, which does allow me to go infinite. Well, usually on the second turn. Right now I was thinking, do I need upgrades or should I fight an elite for cards? Since I already played this seed, I knew that I will get what I want later on, so I just decided to go through a few campfires to speed things up. Took damage here once again. I don't take the Juzu bracelet because I don't want... If I have to click on the question marks, getting a fight instead would be preferable, because I want to avoid events, because there's some events that can ruin my combo, like the mirror event or the bridge event. So if you're doing this, think before taking relics. Do not just take whatever relic. For example, this below relic, do not take it, because if it upgrades your Grave Blast, it will remove exhaust from it. And I just have that card for it to exhaust. I don't want it. So I found Parse here, which is the draw cards. And I also have a Neurosurge, which is just something that can help me get to the infinite on turn 1. And this, I have the infinite on turn 1, but I only have 28 HP and I don't want to doom myself. And Time's Up exhausts itself, so I cannot use this here. So I need to apply Doom to all of these, get defend, before reaching 28 Doom, which I managed to do. Also, whenever I play normally this game, I never know which centipede to hit. It's just super complicated to know which one is the best one to hit. I also picked up a bag of prep. Excellent for getting my combo on turn 1. Once again here, I cannot times up both of these guys. Have to doom them before I doom myself. But turns out to be okay. The no escape is already providing great value. I was thinking about taking the skill potion. That will help me Maybe that will help me with the turn 1 infinite, but I think the Swift Potions are just better, and the skill might clog up my hand if it's not an exhaust skill. At the start of Act 3 I had some errands to do, so there's a small cut there. I cut out the idle time. And I already have the turn 1 infinite on every single encounter already. And that means that with the 2 Swiftness potions, we're pretty much guaranteed to win, to get our combo on the first turn. So we were already set, and we just need to get there and maybe pick up some things that will speed up our combo. Here I found the draw free card. Get a remove on the Fi, I think, because it is just clogging up our hand. And I also copied the Master of Strategy with the mirror again. I could have taken the power potion, so I don't know what I could possibly get to speed us up, but doesn't hurt. I have tons of money. Here I found this relic that upgrades whatever skill I play, which allows me to upgrade the whatever card that doesn't exhaust itself. In which there is Oblivion, No Escape, and I think one more. I don't know. Distilled Potion and Tropic Brew, even more insurance, I guess. And just taking the quick route with the upgrades. I guess taking the hallway fights be faster. Unless you ran into the stupid robots that respawn. Those guys would take a while, actually, for me to kill. I don't know if there's any relics that could help me here. Maybe the poker chip. I don't know if that even drops from elites though. So don't take the event. If you find some cringe event here, it can ruin everything. So don't upgrade Grey Blast because it loses exhaust, so it becomes permanently stuck in your hand. So I play on Ascension 10 so that I have a higher chance of getting the door. Because getting the door coming all the way to Act 3 and not getting the door would suck. So here we are at the door. And we managed to get the infinite rolling easily. So using the hotkeys on the keyboard, you can play cards faster. At one point, I tested out whether I can just like mash one key and still like roll the combo. But that turned out to be false, and I ran out of all the draw cards and had to use the Swiftness Potion. And after that, I realized that I do need to think about what I press here, which is unfortunate because this takes a while. So yeah, that's how you just like play cards. Not much to do. Oh, there. No, I didn't run out of draws yet. Yeah, here I ran out and realized that I can't just mash. I have to think. But it's okay. We have insurance with the potions. We are, I think, at 8 digits, and we need, I think, I don't know if it's 9 or 10 digits. But you can just keep doing it until all the digits are 9. That's how you know that you've reached the maximum doom. There we go. That's the max doom. I decided to try to find a run with the potions, and I did. But as it turns out, maximum damage, we're still reaching the maximum damage without the wall. And yeah, it died. Great.